Hello everyone, Laiyumi is here. On today's video, we will explore some do's and don'ts of one of the most famous yet maybe more misunderstood modes of Splatoon 3. Now, I do not own the keys to success, and this is only a video I'm doing to remind you all of some knowledge that, since the release of Splatoon 3, I observed becoming less and less present into my matches, either from my teammates or sometimes myself as well. If you enjoyed the video, please do remember to leave a like and subscribe to the channel to stay updated on all my future uploads. Let's start with the basics. I think everyone knows it already, but the goal for this mode is to take the Rainmaker from the middle of the map to the enemy base, passing through checkpoints that cleverly gets added in between the middle and the final goal. But that's not the only difference. Special areas are off limits, as 3 Rainmaker zones, specifically to avoid unfair stalling from the team with the advantage. A timer on your head also serves the same purpose, and if you spend too much time... Did you know? Back in Splatoon 1, the modes were introduced as downloadable content on June 2nd with the 1.2 update, a DLC. And what's more, in certain situations of poor connectivity, it was possible to super jump with the Rainmaker, later removed in the 2.7 update released in April 2016. 3, 2, 1, go! The match begins. Depending on the situation, whether the enemy team can pop the Rainmaker barrier faster or if it's not worth getting that initial paint coverage, consider rushing to mid of the map to try and win Rainmaker barrier pop and gain some paint around, a slight boost on your special gauge, and, occasionally, some kills on the side. Very important in this neutral phase of the game is to not get caught into the Rainmaker explosion. This means that the enemy team will gain an instant number advantage on top of the previously mentioned paint on the ground for movement that might give them an advantage to catch your teammates by surprise and take them down. Speaking of grabbing the Rainmaker without any of these 3 advantages, number, paint and special advantage might make a push even harder to happen since you're trading your weapon for the Rainmaker, which is a slower and heavier weapon to carry around and will also make your special off limits if you happen to have it ready. But this is only the beginning of the match. We still need to go through a whole 5-minute fight, KO excluded of course, and a lot of things can still happen. We all know at this point that Splatoon is a game that revolves around inking the ground to give yourself movement, points to fill a special gauge, a stealth option, and definitely an advantage during fights. Now, let's suppose that your team manages to get 2 kills and the Rainmaker barrier is popped. Now it's time to check your surroundings for a possible paint or special advantage and start a push. If you are the one carrying the Rainmaker, it's incredibly important to not rush forward without a plan, just for the sake of watching the score going down. You'll get killed and give the enemy team an advantage that they will use to build a counter push against your team. Take coverage behind obstacles. Remember that the Rainmaker is a weapon if needed, and most importantly, try to stay close, but not too close, to your teammates as they can shield you when it's needed. For those who aren't carrying the Rainmaker, please do not try to go too far away where your presence doesn't matter anymore, only to get lost in your own world while your team gets pushed or counter-pushed unless you want to start a flank. But that also comes with not taking too much time going around the map. Consider your options. Most maps will be presented to you with 2 mid checkpoints. Whenever you are carrying the Rainmaker, it is very important for you to know what card is best to play. Take Mako Mart for example. While the right checkpoint is definitely faster and more appealing, consider taking the left checkpoint as it's safer. Why is that? Because the right checkpoint is too close to the enemy spawn. You can, in some occasions, take those paths, for example after a wipeout, while the whole team is still respawning, but consider the safest options better. If you'd like to learn what are the best paths for Rainmaker, go check that SRB2 dude or ProChar has videos about it. Another thing concerning the checkpoint, and luckily this is a thing I haven't seen in a while now, is skipping the checkpoint. Yes, you don't know how many times at the launch of the game that happened. If you and your teammates got the right amount of paint down on the map, got some kills, and the Rainmaker carrier didn't rush too far, at this point you should have a solid score that will be difficult to take away from you, if you haven't concluded the match already. But let's suppose something during your pushes goes wrong. What to do? First of all, keep an eye on the UI on top of the screen and check for how many of your teammates are still up. Take that information and compare it with the number of enemy players up on the other team to decide if it's worth teaming up with your team to give the player who got splatted time to respawn and join the fight again, or to simply retreat. Whatever you do, remember that the most important thing to do is to not wipe. Let's be positive and let's see the glass half full, shall we? The Rainmaker is in its barrier, your teammate respawn and everyone is there. By carefully watching around you for possible enemies lurking, getting the pop of the Rainmaker would give you another layer of paint that you can use for movement. But, once again, be careful, as if you focus too much on the Rainmaker barrier, you might get jumped by someone who noticed you and giving them a free kill. The barrier is now popped once again. What do I do? Well, for instance, check how much time there's left to the end of the match. Consider if there is enough time to build another push, and how important it is for you to try your best and stay alive. How many points do you need to get the lead? Stop right there. Yes, I know sometimes it might be tempting to just grab the Rainmaker and run through those points like a desperate, but consider if it's really doable and worth. Most often, you will see people constantly grabbing the Rainmaker and rushing forward, unshielded ahead of everyone else, only to die, respawn, grab the Rainmaker again, and repeat the whole process. If you're in this group of people, please stop. Be patient. Things will start happening if you give it the time. But what to do if it's one of your teammates doing it? Consider grabbing it yourself to force them to go be useful somewhere else. Maybe they'll paint. Maybe they'll get some kills, or maybe they will just go feed elsewhere, but at least the other teammates will have a better chance to build a push for you to follow through. Although, here's probably one of the most important questions. Who should be the one grabbing the Rainmaker? Of course, the best idea would be a support or midline weapon, leaving the backline behind the Rainmaker to check for flanks while the Slayer and the other support or skirmisher will push the area of control further. Must be said, though, that this is not always the case. A backliner like a Hydra wouldn't lose too much between their weapon and the Rainmaker in terms of movement, and it would be a great exchange if you happen to be on a team with two backliners. Keep in consideration that if there is a moment where it's completely safe to grab the Rainmaker and get the lead out of it, your role doesn't matter. Go get the lead or KO. At this point, we should have everything regarding the offensive side of the battle covered. Let's talk about defense. As per usual, grabbing the Rainmaker every single time is not the best strat. Make sure that if you grab the Rainmaker, the area around you is clear from enemies that might get you by surprise and get yet another advantage for their team to keep their push alive. Instead, prefer painting around your base, get your specials, and wait for the moment when it's best to deploy it and dispatch the enemy team to gain more space on the map. So, now that the enemies have been pushed back and are scattered around the map, consider if it's worth to reset the Rainmaker or leave it there to reset and waste some time to stall if you have the advantage. Mind you, grabbing the Rainmaker in an extremely critical situation during an enemy push, especially near the end of the match, will trigger the overtime if you happen to lose it in the last 30 seconds, and that means more time for them to steal your advantage. Backtracking is also very dangerous if you get killed, because as soon as they grab the Rainmaker from the position you died, you might have just given them the lead, and your team will probably be a bit disappointed. Besides, that, or even just standing there, will cause the timer on the Rainmaker to run faster. When the timer hits 0, the Rainmaker will explode and kill all your teammates around you. To resume, leave it in its shield and make sure that no one is there. Pop it, and if it's needed, reset it. Or let it reset on its own, depending if you need the time to mount a counter push. Consider also the fact that you will need to respawn again too. If it's already popped, make extra sure no one is sharking and ready to get the lead from you as soon as you move forward. And focus on staying alive. So, let's do a recap. Do. Paint. Move around your teammates. Take coverage when you're carrying the Rainmaker. Use it as a weapon. And most importantly, be patient. Depending on the situation, rush to mid to win the pop. carry the Rainmaker, backtrack and stall, but not too much, or use the dangerous routes. Do not die to the Rainmaker barrier explosion, mindlessly grab the Rainmaker whenever it's free from the barrier, rush forward without a plan or advantage, and skip the checkpoints. I think I've covered everything that could be said around this mode, or at least everything that my mind is able to think as of right now. Do you have other suggestions? Do you disagree with something? Let me know in the comments section. I will be reading and gladly welcome every constructive criticism you will send my way. And guys, this is everything that was left for this video, and once again, if you liked it, please leave a like and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Ciao!